Well, good morning.
Dreamwalking.
Dreamwalking. That's kind of funny that we do this first thing in the morning, and the first thing we're going to talk about is dreamwalking.
It's perfect.
So
What dreams
I
did you
think,
have last night?
oh, I don't remember because I didn't text them to you. So, so dreamwalking. So Mina and I have this thing where, with dreams, I'll text her whatever my dream is, and I don't know if it's a way for me to remember them or if it's just a way to see what her thoughts are, because sometimes she has a different interpretation than I do. um, but we're going to start a library of random texts Sam sends Mina in the morning, of just, and then what Mina's response is, because sometimes she'll just send me a picture of a lamp and it makes no sense whatsoever. So, but yeah, so dreams and dream walking. Let's just yeah. You'll see some of these messages later on. I'm fighting vampires. I told Robert Downey Jr. that he was a hack once and that he needs to get back to acting. The list goes on and on. So, but first of all, so dream walking. What exactly is that from a metaphysical standpoint for yourself?
And Sam dreams a lot about actors and stuff like that, but that is her muse qualities, and we'll go on to that later. Okay, I'm
That's
sorry.
much later down the road.
So again, what was your question?
So what is a dream walker? Because it's like you've written that on your bio since I've known you, and I know what it is, but for those of us out there that don't know what it is, what is a dream walker?
So in the beginning, it's kind of like just controlling your dreams. It's being able to, let's say we go to dinner in our dreams and deciding whether or not we eat or what we want to eat, or manifesting something in the dream that isn't around. So that's the beginning stages. And then as you develop it more and more, you're able to travel to the past, travel to the future, go help people all over, different realms. I mean, it's limitless. Whatever you can imagine can happen, pretty much.
Can you start, like, before you go to bed, go, I'm going to dream walk tonight?
Oh, yeah. Well, you mean, do I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Say,
always.
I'm going to dream walk and go to blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't know what blah 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 is like, but you get the general gist. Like, if you're trying to do something where you're working with the client, do you go, okay, tonight I'm going to go dream walk and see what else is going on when they're asleep, or anything like that?
Right. So some of the jobs that I do is diving into people and looking into their, whether it's health wise, physical things, um, spiritual, mental, etc. So that's one of the things that I can do. And then, so I don't really sleep like a normal person. Normal people feel rested in the morning or they sleep. I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes they don't even remember their dreams. But for me, it's
Mm-hmm.
like another job. So when I wake up in the morning, usually I'm like, I mean, I've gotten used to it, but it's like kind of like you feel like after a hangover, if you had a really intense, like multitude of walkings in a night.
It's wild. Um, so I know there are a lot of people out there that go, I don't remember my dreams. I don't know when the last time I had a dream was. What would you say to that?
So, traditional Chinese medicine wise, we would say first, let's look at your stomach. What are you eating? How are you eating? Are you eating fast or slow? The more strength you have in your root, which is your spleen in your stomach, and this is energetic. So even if you had your spleen taken out, it's an energetic thing.
Still have the spleen.
Yeah, you still have the
Energetic.
spleen energy.
Yeah.
And once the root's strong, the rest of it can be strong. So first, look at that. Chew your food well, and you're going to hear me say this all the time. Wait a minute between each bite, or chew the food till liquid. Like that's so important. And never ever get 100% full. Like 80% full is your max. Should
Yeah.
be your max. And then after that, then we can talk about like third eye stuff. Lavender oil, lavender underneath your pillow, dream journals, just writing stuff down, even if you don't remember. The habit of writing, like how Sam texts me, that habit helps remember. And then the more you remember, the more you can control.
Yeah. Well, and I also like to send you them because they don't make any sense and they're kind of funny. Some of them are just like, they go on, and it's like a journey and an adventure. All of my dreams are like, I don't know, rated PG-13. They're kind of like fun and bubbly and kind of weird. But I know when I started, so here's the thing that I really noticed for myself when it came to dreaming, that when I was younger, I would have dreams a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got older, they started to go away. And I noticed that the more I was if I was in a situation that I didn't particularly like, or that I would stuff, or, there were a lot of things that I just felt like I wasn't following my gut and I wasn't following what I should be doing, I would have less dreams. And the funny thing is that after I met you, the dreams started happening all the time.
Which is normal.
Yeah, and then I started having conversations with you in dreams, or I would show up in your dreams.
Again,
the closer
normal.
we got, the more I started getting your like sloppy second dreams.
The cup runneth over.
Yeah, because it was just like I would have dreams, and I was like, that was like way heavier than what one of my dreams would be. Like,
yeah, because you said you can tell the difference when it's my dream versus
I can
yours.
actually tell. I've gotten to the point now where I can tell the difference and this is another reason why I'll send you my dreams, is because I'll just go, I don't know if this is mine, or if this is a real warning for me, or this is a warning for you. Because the most recent dream I had that was yours, or was a warning for you, was I was in a dilapidated haunted house and there were rats everywhere. It was just like horror film, terrible. And I hate to say it, but your dreams are dark. They're heavy. They show up for me, and I'm just like, I don't know how this girl does it. She is a brave person. But I just remember I was walking. I was like, yeah, there are rats down here. And you were at the top of the stairs. And I was like, Mina, there are rats down here. And you were like, that's okay. Just don't let them bite you. I was like, okay. Like, started walking up the stairs, and they just came down like a wave, like you get washed over by a wave. And I was like,
not good.
What does that mean? And then you said, oh, somebody's talking shit about you. And I was like, what? Who's talking shit about me? I don't even know anybody. Nobody talks to me. We're in quarantine. It's like the anxiety in me just went through the roof. And then like 3 days later, you're like, oh, I had the same dream.
Yeah.
That was actually for me. Sorry.
Yeah. My bad.
I was like, who's talking shit about you? But yeah, so those are kind of the moments that I go, oh. But I did notice, though, that the more I would open up to the metaphysical, even if it was just like I'd go and if I would schedule a reading with somebody locally, I would catch myself having a dream the night before. And it was like past
and meditate,
life.
Right? The more you meditate, too.
Yeah, the more you meditate, the more you start following your gut. And I think the more you believe in magic.
Imagination is so powerful. Oh my God. Like, don't lose your imagination, and if you've lost it, go back to it. Go play with some kids. Go, whatever, play cars or play dolls. Just come back to that imagination.
I just can't tell you the amount of people that when they by the time they hit their mid-30s, they just start going, well, this is my life. This is all it's going to be. I have all these commitments. And it's like, yeah, okay, you have these commitments. Obviously, you want to be there for your kids. And you want to be there for your spouse that you love. But there's also that, you can do more. You are not locked into this way of being. And that's the thing that I know. And we'll talk about that when we talk about being a skeptic versus being a psychic. But, yeah, just having those dreams.
They're not all dark. Just for the record, like some of them, like you literally go to heaven and you can be around enlightened people or people that have passed that are enlightened. And it's so much bliss. And when you come back here, you're like, whoa, okay. Like you really.
You really have this moment of, God, I don't want to, why am you kind of don't want to wake up. That sounds bad, but it's just more like you wake up and you go, oh, man.
That kind of happiness, yeah.
I got to go take care of X, Y, and Z or mow the lawn or whatever you got to do.
But then, so the goal is you meditate until you have that happiness here, right? So like the first time I saw my Shen, which is my soul, and we'll talk about that another time too, but I remember being so blissfully happy afterwards. I went up to my master and I was like, dude, now I know why you always smile. He just laughed. It's like, that's it.
Yeah, and something that I've also noticed too is that the more I meditate, the more I have dreams that have messages, or I'll have a dream that is unlocking something. So, for me in particular, when I have my dreams, is there's kind of a set schedule. I have this enormous cat named Fat Man who decides that he has to eat every morning at 4 a.m. So I kind of like stumble out and drop food in his dish, and then I stumble back to my bed. And I'm like half awake, and there's right in between the half awake and half asleep that I start having either dreams, or I'll even do a meditation where I'll listen to some music, and some interesting things happen at that time, because you can really find yourself going, wow, I feel amazing. And then you get up, you got to go to work out, and your trainer's going to kick your butt, and it's like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. I just want to sit in this little bliss world. And it's pretty amazing. But I think there's another question is, we have all had dreams where grandma and grandpa come and visit us, or, a relative who's passed away. And sometimes they have messages and sometimes they just hang out. What would you say those dreams mean? Do they mean anything, or are they just visiting? What's the story?
Sometimes I think they're visiting and it's just a love moment. And other times I think they're warnings, and it depends. You have to look at everything that's happening around you in that dream. So like who else is around you, how they present themselves. When I was a kid, the way they would present themselves to know that it was a warning was they showed me the way when they passed. So sometimes it was really gruesome, but they wanted to get their point across. And so eventually I coerced them into being like, hey dude, can't handle it, like, can you just like tell me another way? So
can you be a little gentler with the way you give me information? Cool, yeah. Thanks, bye.
So they did. And then that's part of dream walking too, right? You just be like, hey, so I can't really handle that, I'd really like it like this. Cool. And so it happens.
Well, and it's really interesting because the dreams that I have that are meant for you are usually really dark. And I don't necessarily think that's because you're a dark person. I think it's because they're like, okay, well, we're going to give this to Sam the brutal way.
Right.
She doesn't know how to control it. Yeah. So it's like, I was just like, dude, there have been some where it's pretty brutal. But, yeah, because I know for a lot of us, when we have a family member that we really love that passes away, you have a dream. I always would have a dream that they would come back and say, I'm not dead. I'm still here. I mean, that's obvious interpretation with that, but yeah. Or I'll have you ever had past life dreams?
A lot. I try to, now I get to the point where like, if I go to date someone, I have I do a past life thing before I walk into it, just to know if like we have any things that we need to work out.
Are they a karmic soulmate, or are they a good one? Are you a good one?
I don't like to use the word soulmate on that one, but let's say, right, a karmic thing that like, my ex husband, we were married for like a very, very short time, and we could have done an annulment, and he wanted to do a divorce, and so I looked and I searched for the answer on that. And this is what made me like make sure that I always check this first, and the answer was, well, we never got divorced in the past life, so we needed to do it this one so that we didn't repeat the same mistake in the next one. And I was like, okay, all right, that makes sense. So
yeah. I've had, well, and it's interesting because when I first met you, I remember having a dream right before I met you where it was not me, the person that I saw looking in the mirror. She was really sad. She was really, really, really sad. And I think she was like one of those kind of 1950s abused housewives, told that she couldn't offer anything to the world, like that level of despair. And I was just like, I remember waking up going, well, that wasn't me. What the heck was that? But I felt that pain. Like, you feel that pain of the past life. And I was like, why does she have to come like a past life? Why can't I have like the Roman nobleman come and talk to me? Jesus, why is that a sad? It is what it is. But it's like there are times where these dreams are funny because the messages. There's some great pages, web apps like dreammoods.com. You told me about, which has been really helpful.
Yeah.
Just to have some interpretation, I think that there's a lot to be uncovered in dreams, and people just go, "Oh, well, it's just a dream." But a lot of the times, these dreams show up with a message. And if you're somebody that doesn't normally have dreams, and you have one that's really vivid, it's probably a sign that something's trying to tell you something.
Well, in Chinese medicine, also, it like if we dream about certain things, it's our organs talking to us, right? So if we dream about mountains or something like that, then our spleen is talking to us. I'm back to the spleen again. Coming off of a cliff or like falling down, then that's definitely a spleen qi deficiency. We're pretty much probably exhausting ourselves. So, our body's talking to us too. And we just have to listen to all the messages. So there's so many ways to interpret it. Also, like Native American, spirit, animal guides. So you can research that and the way that they interpret animals when the animals come to you, which is super cool. I love reading those stories. And
also, I think it comes down to what resonates with you. And if you have a dream that, and they're saying, oh, well, you had a dream about this, it means you have all of these issues. And you're like, I don't feel like I have these issues.
Right.
Don't follow that one. But
like for black cats, some people think they're lucky and other people think that they're not lucky. So it's what also you think or what hemisphere you're in. It's just like for me, black cats are super lucky, but white cats are not lucky. But in the end, if I dream of any kind of a cat, I'm like, crap, bad health. Like literally I'm in that moment of the dream and I see it and I'm like, no, come on. And I'm like telling the cat, please, no. And then if the cat's already dead, like if it's one of my old cats that comes back and I'm like, dude, seriously, I know it's my health. And it's devastating. And I'm in the dream and I'm just devastated and I want to I walk out.
I can't, this dream is over. You just go, I'm done.
I do.
There you go, take my ball and go home. I'm not going to play anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dreams are, and it's interesting too. I would say if you want to unlock your dreams, try to do something that is going to shake up your life. And I don't mean like, get divorced or break up with somebody or do something like that, but like something like, for instance, 2018, I went to Austria by myself. I traveled by myself, and people go, oh, you're brave. But I'm like, I'm not quite sure I was brave. It was more stupid because I just went, I'm going to go do this by myself. There's not going to be any problems. And it was exciting, but it was stressful all at the same time. And I remember my dreams, I couldn't quite get to sleep completely. And I would have these dreams where I visited everybody. I had all of these dreams where I was flying and talking to people and going, I'm all over the place. But for some reason, it unlocked a lot of dreams and kind of shaking things up in that sense of, maybe go travel, maybe go visit a friend, go do X, Y, and Z. Something that you don't do in your normal day-to-day life to help shake up those dreams.
Or meditate for long periods of time. Push yourself.
Or meditate for long periods of time. Some of us are like that.
So, and it's not because you get precognitive dreams now too, right? I mean, I believe so.
Precognitive?
Like the future?
Oh, yeah, the ones where I'm just like, and then this happens, and then I'm like, we'll see what happens.
So it's normal for people when they're get closer to me that they start to dream more. It's like a default mechanism that happens. Like literally, I don't know whether it's an opening of the third eye or if it's just it's part of what I do. And even my patients, so they might not remember their dreams, and then they start getting treatments by me, and I'm like, hey, did you dream last night? Well, and then they eventually, after a couple sessions, they're like, oh, by the way, I dreamt this, this, and this. I'm like, awesome. That's wonderful, because that helps me treat you, because I know what's going on in your body even better. So,
yeah, I mean, I've had dreams now as warnings for you,
yes.
which has been interesting. Because I'm like, yeah, I had a dream. And you're like, I think that was for me. And I'm like, damn it, it was for you.
Yeah, sorry.
But then also, so just to give my own testament of if you get too close to Mina, you start having dreams. I'm going to tell my story. So the first time I stayed with Mina at her house, I slept, she's down in Mexico, so I had to stay over. And I remember I started having dreams. The first dream was kind of like something got right in my face and said, wake up! And I was like, okay. And then the next night.
Are you talking about my mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much just got right.
It doesn't bother me. You can talk about it. Yeah.
Wake up! And I was like, okay, here I am. That was it. And I told you, and you're like, sorry. I was making dinner. And I was like, okay. But yeah, so there was one night where I had it. This dream was really vivid. You know those dreams where you think it's real. I was like, this is real. There is nothing. I mean, I'm here. And it was interesting because I was in Mexico, and part of me was like, well, maybe that's what the message was. But I was at the border, but the border was very gray. Like the kind of gray you see after a war. Like, things are kind of speckled and kind of harsh and just gray and
this one.
sad. And then I was like, how do I get out of it? And I was like, I'm at the border. I'm standing in line. And I turned to somebody and I said, is this the way to, get across? And this guy, he felt like he was 7 feet tall, just picked me up from the scruff of the neck and put me in the air and just was like, what the hell are you doing here? And he was ready to kill me. And I was like, I don't know who you are, but I'm just looking for Mina. And I remember thinking, like, my way of getting out of here is with Mina. And I don't know what that is. Yeah. And somehow I busted free because somebody else was like, hey, man. It was like people from different time frames to different eras were just like kind of curious about me. And then so the one angry guy was totally diffused by this hippy dippy dude. And I ran away. And before I knew it, I was in the barracks of World War II or I, going, what the hell is going on? And I'm like hiding behind.
So where were you, Sam?
I was, it gets better. It's like I'm sitting there and I'm watching this war go on. And then there's these 2 or 3 ladies from like late 1800s Victorian era just sitting there drinking tea, having a conversation in the middle of a war zone. And I was like, where the heck am I? And I woke. Luckily, I was like, because I'm like, there's no way out. I have no way out of getting out of here. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I'm stuck here. And my alarm went off. And I was just like, oh my God, thank God. And I went downstairs and you were already awake because you have your 14,000 dogs. And I was just like, I had the craziest dream. And I told you about it. And you were like, that sounds like purgatory. And I was like, I went to what? I was like, I went to purgatory. But now that I look at it, I'm like, that is exactly what and it's obvious and very apparent to me that I have never really been there. Because I felt like a stranger in a strange land, and people were completely confused about why I was there. So was I. But I just remember going, it felt so heavy, and it felt so like despair.
By the way, this isn't recommended.
This is not recommended. Really I would not recommend it for myself again.
Sometimes people accidentally hitch on for a ride that are really close to me.
But it was just like, I don't think I've ever had that level of despair. And I woke up going, thank God, but it was like obviously all of the people in that dream, they were completely traumatized by something that happened, or what is the theory on purgatory? Is it like basically if somebody's a ghost, they could be considered in purgatory?
Can we save that for another discussion?
Yeah, okay. but it was one of those dreams where I was like, this is definitely not how I dream.
Yeah.
Because my dreams are light and fluffy, and sometimes Prince comes up and he sings to me, and then he goes.
Awesome. Oh my gosh! I think he's visited you like at least 7 times. I don't remember how many.
Since Prince passed away, I've had about 7 to 10 dreams about him, and it's always
like
the same
totally
thing.
Your guide.
He pulls like some sort of like. I remember. I hope my mom or dad doesn't watch this, but so I remember I had a dream, and I didn't know anything about. I had never heard this story before. Where I was sitting in his house. It was like completely white, decked out, marble, everything. And he's making pancakes. He was making pancakes for me. And I was like, what's this all about? He's like, oh, I just love pancakes. In real life, real time, I didn't know that he had a thing for pancakes. And I remember going, I was like, because it's one of those dreams where a celebrity shows up. I was like, so are we going to have sex now? And he's like, no. What the hell are you talking about? And I was just like,
I'm just here to make you pancakes, man.
Like, I'm just making, it's exactly what he said. He's like, I'm just making pancakes. Just calm it down. And I was like, but we all have those dreams where it's like, is this a sex dream? It was basically what my question was. Like, is this a sex dream? Because I don't know what this is about. And he was like, hell no. It's like, I have a girlfriend. She's over there. I was like, of course you do.
Of course you do.
But yeah, so it's like sometimes you'll have dreams. If you have dreams about the same person or same thing over and over again,
it means something.
It means something. Because in my head, I'm going, I would love for Prince to be my spirit guide, but in my head, I'm kind of like, he's too cool for me. He's just way too cool. I totally think
he's one of your guides.
But, yeah, so.
And he will appreciate we're doing this.
He's like, don't forget me. Like, I don't think anybody's ever going to forget you. So
you're going to have to write me your dreams from tomorrow morning. So okay, I wouldn't doubt that he'll visit.
Okay, if he visits, then I will post it on the interwebs, and we can all have a laugh.
Okay.
He's always played tricks. He's a trickster. He was a trickster in real life. I found out later.
Yeah.
So
I love that part about him.
Every dream has some sort of trick up its sleeve, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
So your takeaway, if you want to help remember your dreams, I say meditate a lot. Sam says,
oh my gosh, did you see that ghost just went flying by your camera?
It always does that. Sam says, visit Prince.
Talk about tricksters. Bam!
Told you. Lavender oil, a lavender under your pillow, dream journaling, and all that stuff.
Meditating. Maybe doing something a little different, fun, and exciting that'll shake up your life a little bit. Put you at knees.
Oh, and eating really slowly.
Yeah.
Chew your food till liquid. Wait a minute between each bite and never get full.
And then also just believing that there's magic out there, and I think part of it is just going, hey, there's stuff out there that isn't mine, that isn't right in front of me, that isn't tangible, that is sending me messages and helping me get through this life. And I think that that's super. When you think like that, all of a sudden life gets a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Rather than it's just me against the world. That's a hard way to live.
It's not. I promise you it's not.
Yeah.
There's so many out there helping. We can do
so we're gonna start a page, well, not a page, but we'll start posting random text messages Sam has sent Mina. I've had dreams about Donald Trump. I've had dreams about Robert Downey Jr. Basically, I've told him he's a hack for the last 3 or 4 dreams. Poor guy. I was like, start acting again. I'm so tired of this Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. personality. Because it's basically just Robert Downey Jr. in a suit. And man, I'm probably going to get a lot of slack for that.
I love him like that. Die-hard fan here.
I know. I loved him more in Chaplin and when he was really exploring his acting. But
okay, so dreams.
Next time, this is how you do a dream.
Next time we'll talk about what is the psychic, what is the skeptic.
Yes.
Love you guys.
We'll see you later.